Lesson 4. We are talking about powers of monomials. So we talked about the multiplication and division rule for monomials yesterday. So this is just an extension of that. So if you look here under power of a power, it says to find the power of a power, you multiply the exponents. So what this is saying is if you raise something to the third power, what that means is everything inside of here, you have 5 squared that is now being taken to the third power. So you have 5 squared times 5 squared times 5 squared. Now remember our rule from yesterday, when you're multiplying and you have like bases, you simply add the exponents. So that's where this 5 to the 6th power comes from. So we did just multiply 3 times 2, 5 to the 6th. So if you're looking at this one, it says 6 to the 4th, and all of that is taken to the 5th power. So 6 to the 4th, you've got that 5 times. How many of them do you actually have? Well, 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 4, or you could have just said 5 times 4, and that would have given you 20. So to take a power to a power, you multiply their exponents. So on the examples, it says simplify using the laws of exponents. So 8 to the 4th cubed. Multiply your exponents, would be 8 to the 12th. K to the 7th raised to the 5th power. All of it, everything inside of there is raised to the 5th power. So that would be K to the 35th. So when you go ahead and take a minute, and I want you to try A, B, and C. Pause it, and I'll come back and we can work through those. All right, so for A, 2 to the 5th squared. 2 to the 5th times 2 to the 5th, like bases, multiply the exponents. You have 2 to the 10th. B, W to the 4th taken to the 6th power is W to the 24th. Now the last one, 3 squared, which is then cubed, which is then squared. So if you're taking a power to a power, we know that you multiply. So 2 times 3 is 6. Now that 6 is then squared. So 6 times 2 is 12. So our answer is 3 to the 12th. And you're still going to multiply all those. 2 times 3 times 2. Okay. Moving on, my little pets. Moving on. Come on, honey. Power of a product, which basically is now saying that we have to find the power of a product, find the power of each factor, and multiply. So if there's multiple things inside of the parentheses, if there's multiple things, then you just have to take the power of each of them. So if it's 6x squared, and that is all taken, everything inside of here is taken to the third power. 6 is taken to the third power and x squared. So 6 cubed is 6 times 6 times 6. Work that out for 216. X squared is cubed, 2 times 3, 6. 216 x to the 6th. So this example right here, 3a squared, all of that is taken to the 5th power. So you've got 3 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, and then a squared taken to the 5th. So 3 to the 5th is 243, and then we've got a to the 10th. 243, a to the 10th. So here are your examples for that. Before we move on, yesterday on the previous lesson, I had talked to you and I said, you know, I don't care if you switch those back and forth or not, or you can leave it as whatever, 3 to the 5th, you didn't have to work them out. Whenever it is a product like that, we are not going to leave 3 to the 5th times a to the 10th. You would need to work that out and get a number. So let's be clear on that part, okay? Under the examples, 4p cubed raised to the 4th power. So you need 4 to the 4th power and p cubed to the 4th power. It might help if you almost think of this like distributive property. Like 4 goes to this 4. 4 to the 4th. And we've got p cubed to the 4th. So we're multiplying exponents. So 4 times 4 is 16, times 4 is 64, times 4, 256. Multiplying exponents, p to the 12th. Example 4 here. Negative 2, m to the 7th, n to the 6th. All of that is taken to the 5th power. So whenever you take all of that, one thing I want you to realize on this one is that you have a negative 2 in there. So that is a negative 2. Make sure that that negative goes with it. Negative 2 to the 5th power. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16, times 2 is 32. But now this is negative, and so you really have 5 negatives that you're multiplying together. So you've got a negative 32. 7 times 5, 35. 6 times 5, 30. Negative 32, m to the 35th, n to the 30th. So pause it, try D, E, and F quickly, please. After you have done that, these are the answers that you should have got. For D, you should have 64, 64b to the 18th, 64b to the 18th. For D, large number, 1,296, x to the 20th, y to the 44th power. We are multiplying exponents here. Remember, when you raise a power to a power, you multiply. So for F, negative 5 times itself 3 times gives you a negative 125. W to the 6th, Z to the 24th. Notice that the only thing in here that's negative is the 5, so do not think that this is a negative 2 for some reason. It's just the negative 5. Okay, let's do some quick examples under the guided practice, and you will be done. So, on the next page, simplify. Well, let's get it up here. Simplify using the laws of exponents. So for number 1, 3 squared to the 5th power. There's only one thing that's in there. So it's not like you take 3 times 3 times 3 5 times. There's only one thing that's inside of that parentheses. So you just take the exponents and multiply them. So it is 3 to the 10th. Next one, again, there's only one thing in that parentheses. So it's 4 times 6, 24. Come on. H to the 24th. This one, again, only one thing in here. It just keeps being raised to different powers. So 3 times 2 is 6, times 3 is 18. 2 to the 18th power. Now, it's fine to leave that here. You do not have to multiply it out 18 times. It's whenever you get to ones that look like this that you actually have to multiply it out. You've got 7 times 7 times 7. 343. And then W to the 7th, you have that 3 times. So 7 plus 7 plus 7, or you could take 7 times 3. So W to the 21st. Number 5, 5 to the 4th power. 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. 625. 8, G to the 8th taken to the 4th power. It's supposed to be a 5. G to the 8th would be G to the 32nd power. And then K to the 12th taken to the 4th power would be K to the 48th. Last one. Negative 6 squared would be a positive 36. Negative 6 times negative 6 is a positive. That would be R to the 10th, S to the 18th. So that's how you take a power to a power. Make sure that you remember the difference between examples, say like this, where there's just one thing in parentheses, and you have to do one extra thing whenever there's more than one thing in parentheses like that. 7 you would have to take to the 3rd power, as well as W to the 7th. So practice with those. Do the next assignment that accompanies that, and we can talk tomorrow if you're having difficulties.